Hello, welcome. In this video, let's talk about the 3-year-old devices that take me into the world of Android emulators. I will test some of the Nintendo emulators on this device using a 3-year-old game controller, GameSeer X2. Let's see if this Snapdragon 778G is still worth it for an emulator gaming in 2024. Let's start. Our first emulator is a GBC emulator Pizza Boy C, running a Pokemon ROM hacks. We all know that the classic 2D games are not very demanding on any future phone. You can run this emulator even if you have a very low-spec phone. The next one is the GBA emulator Pizza Boy. Like a previous emulator, this emulator is also not demanding in any phone spec. Also, there are a lot of 2D classic games here in a Game Boy Advance than the previous emulator GBC. Our third emulator is the Nintendo DS, Drastic Emulator. Unlike the previous two emulators, this emulator is quite demanding on phone specs, bringing you more advanced 2D graphic games and lots of new features. You can now download a Drastic Emulator for free. Unlike before, you need to buy this emulator to play your favorite Nintendo DS games on your Android phone. Our fifth emulator is a 3DS emulator, Citra MMJ. There's a lot of 3DS emulator forks now, and after shutting down the Citra emulator, the fork is continued by the other developers, such as Lime 3DS, Mandarin, and more. This emulator also needs powerful devices like mid-range phones, but some forks run this emulator, even low-spec 4GB of RAM and a Snapdragon 6th generation. In my device, I have not found any problem running this emulator, but you need to find great settings and also some FPS cheats to run your game perfectly. I recommend using Citra MMJ. This fork is still good to use for a 3DS emulator, but soon the Mandarin 3DS will also be a good emulator for online features. The sixth emulator is Dolphin Emulator. It runs a GameCube and Wii games. This emulator needs a 64-bit edition of Android, 5 or higher, Android 9 or higher, 4 to 6 GB of RAM or higher, and a Snapdragon 700 Plus. The seventh on the list is cemu Android. This emulator is for Wii U. The developer is still under development for this project, and a lot of more features need to be improved. Cemu Android requires an Android 11 or higher, and also a good spec 8 GB or higher RAM, and a Snapdragon 778G or higher as much as possible. And for the last spot emulator for Android yuzu, this emulator is very well known and very controversial. The issues of yuzu and Nintendo shocked all the emulator community. After successfully shutting down the yuzu emulator group, yuzu revives and continues many forks, such as Suyu, Sudachi, Yuzui, and more. This emulator continues until now, but the Nintendo stands still to sue all emulator developers, especially on the Switch emulator. As we all know, the Switch emulator is very demanding when it comes to phone spec. You need at least 8 GB of RAM or higher and Android 12 or higher and also a Snapdragon 18th generation. You can see I managed to run this AAA game at 30 FPS. That's because I modified my phone or turned it into a custom ROM for PixelOS, removing bloatware and unwanted apps, and customized kernels to improve performance, battery stability, and more. In short, I fully take out the potential of the Snapdragon 778G. The question is the Snapdragon 778G still worth it for emulator gaming? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because the Snapdragon 778G is not a bad spec for gaming. The previous emulator can run by this specification, and there are a lot of games to play. No, because the feature emulator needs more powerful devices that can run the latest emulator, like Switch. We don't know what will happen. But someday your mobile phone can now play Xbox, PS4, and PS5, or the Nintendo Switch 2 emulators in the future. I hope you like my video. If you find my video helpful, please leave a like or subscribe to my channel to always be notified of my latest updates. Thanks for watching. See you in my latest video.